Welcome to Yeshiva Daf, share sponsor Lu Nishma Sam Yakashom Now Basitzchok. We're holding in Daf, in Sanhedrin Daf Chavtes. We're going to be starting the two dots in the Chavches on the base and the bottom. Says the Gemara, Bidoim Merchuli, Omar Tarchum, Omar Tavlo, Omar Bruno. Right, so Buddha said that if a person has his, there's a wife and she had children. Meaning he has a daughter and she has children from the daughter, so he's carved to the son-in-law. So the son-in-law, even though there's no direct relation anymore, the daughter died, because there's children, so there is a relation. Says the Gemara now. So the Gemara, according to this, Allah is like a Buddha. No, it's not like a Buddha. There's some say the Rabbi Chana follow. In Zudor shall be saying Lili, physically dash the following dosho. You go to the Shev, it'll be those days. Doesn't mean go to the Shev that days. So Gemara dash it somewhere else that we see talking about even if Yiftach b'doyroi, Keshmul b'doyroi. Doesn't matter the level. Here the Gemara has a different drasha. The Chiddush is, even though he was a relative, but now he's not a relative anymore, so you go to him. This way. That's what we see, that that's what the Gemara said, the Rabbi Chana said, we said Allah like that. The sons of the father-in-law of Marukva. Why? Because the wife of Marukva died, but Marukva had kids from her. So it's not the case of our Mishnah. He had a wife, the wife died, she had kids, Shiloh, is she still a relative or not? Also, they came for him for din. We're on postal to you. Why? Because we're relatives. Why relatives? Because my children are your mishpacha. My daitach kabudo, we don't like kabudo. I know my sitting garto in my rova ain't like kabudo. Bring a letter from Eretz Yisrael. We don't pass like kabudo. Amalu atu bekavo dekiro it bakachno bechu. You think I'm stuck to you with a measurement of wax? Meaning, in other words, I'm not obligated. You want me to do a din, and now you think I'm stuck. I have to listen. I don't want to do it. Why not? You want to know why I said I don't want to do a din for you? Because you're not going to listen to me. So I don't want to do a din for people that don't listen to the din. And nothing to do with the fact that I'm a relative. He said, I agree with you, I'm not a relative. Because you don't pass like a Buddha. But still, I don't want to do a din for you because it's the side reason. Nothing to do with that. Don't think that I'm stuck with you and I have to do whatever you want. Something more, we learned in the Mishnah that as someone who's a lover is not allowed to testify because we don't trust, he may not say the right thing. So says the Gemara, what's a oyev? That's a shoshvina. What's a shoshvina? The one who calls, we saw in the end of Bobasro, he comes to the wedding and he is Sameach the Chasson. Sameach the Chasson, takes care of the Chasson. The Kama, how long? The 7 days Shiva Yimei Mishnah. The Shabbos. He's only there for the chuppah. Once the chuppah ends, he's not considered to be oyev anymore. Hasoyne, what's the soyne? Some person did not speak to somebody else for 3 days, considered to be a hater. If he's not hating him, the pasuk says, the pasuk is talk about a murder, someone who came to murder somebody else. If he murdered him by mistake, it's a shaykik. So the Torah says he's not a hater. And he's not looking for his bad. Because if he's a hater, you chayshid he did it purposely. That's what it says over there. Now the Gemara is going to dash at this not regarding the murderer, but regarding the judge and the witness. So the Gemara, don't be he shall be an enemy. If he's an enemy, he can't testify. So he can't seek his bad. In other words, who can testify? Someone who's not an enemy. Who could be a dayan? somebody who's not a vakish rosa. So that you can do the din. Ashkelon soine oyem minolon. So we see over here that a soine cannot do it. How do you know that a lover also can't? Remember, oyev and hoyev is the same word, just one letter difference. This is with a hey, this is with a yud. So you dash it also for the lover. So if he doesn't love him, yidenu. Now you dash also. He's not seeking his bad, he's not seeking his good either. Yadinenu. So does it say the word oyev? Oyev my taimo. So why has to say oyev with a hey? It's why it makes sense. Oyev my time is shouldn't someone who's an oyev, he's looking for, he wants to harm him. Oyev not in the karvadite. Oyev is mekarvadite. Second more v'rabonon that they darshan there you could be a test. You could testify even if we're oyev or a or oyev. Meaning that a dayon cannot. You can be a judge if it's oyev or v'keshvasi. You can witness. You can be a you can testify, but you can't be a judge. What do you do with the other one? The words. My basic Buddha, Vulo Yoev Lov no Keshwasu, Mikam Shteb Chacham, Shesoim Zedze, Shein Yoshim Medin Keechod. Two dayanim they hate each other cannot sit together because they can't do things together. They have to collaborate. They can't do it. Yeah.
What's the price? That's the price. If you make the Chama hate each other.
Good order. I don't have a good answer to that. Your question?
So you have an answer to this?
I mean, you see the whole time there's a lot of back and shop from hate, as they say.
Shop from hate is not hating each other.
Zog the Mishnah.
Maybe you don't get along.
Zog the Mishnah. Let's go on. Zog the Mishnah. Keitzad boikim esaid. How do you check that? How do you come and you do the bdika of it? Right now we talk about dinim moments. Dinim moments we talk about here regarding monetary judgment, where the bdika is a much more lenient bdika. So you bring into a room and you warn them not to lie. Everybody out. You leave only one of the 80 in the gadol. Tell him, how do you know? The Reuben was going to Shimon. He says, he told me. Or, somebody else told me. That's not considered to be it's chayvus. The borrower says to the lender, in front of the lender, I admit that I owe you 200. Once you say that, that's all you do. So then you bring the second one. And you check it out. If you say that they said the same thing, so then they start discussing the dayonim. And then what happens after the dayonim discuss? Two dayonim say he's patur. What's his chayo? Zaka. What's it in? Chayo. Because within the moment is you don't have to have an additional two. But if it's only one that says chayo and one that says zakai, what about the third one? And here goes the Shura this Chiddush. Afilu shnayim mezakim u'shnayim mechayvim. Ve'echad man yudeh. The third one says I don't know. Now, look what happened over here. If you had two dayanim says he's innocent, he's zakai, and the other one argues and says no, he's chayav. What's the din?
Two dayanim say
he's zakai. And one says chayav.
One out of the two?
No, a third one. So what's it in?
It's 2 against 1.
2 against 1, zakai. Here goes the Shura Chiddush of the Mishnah. If two say zakai, and the third one says I don't know, it's not a beis din. You have to bring more people. Even if you would say no, it would still be a boch like that. But you need to have 3 dayanim. So as long as one of them is not here, it's only 2 dayanim. That's what the Mishnah says.
You're talking about the dayanim, not the eidim.
Yeah, dayanim. So Yishtayim chayiv, 2 says chayiv. Echad oimeni yudeya, I don't know. Yusifa dayani. You have to add more dayani.
Isn't that a pshita?
No, I would think they have two.
You can't have two. You need three.
But I have 3. I do have 3 here. Just one side, I don't know. So he's saying one side I don't know, he's completely disqualified as if he's not here. That's the Kiddush.
Yeah, but the car, how many?
What?
The car, you just have to add 1.
No, so that we'll see. The Moisifim is always 2. That we'll get to. We saw a little bit before.
Then you can get 2 against 2.
Right, so that's like what I said before. It can be an equal basis.
Before.
Yeah. So get back there.
The Zach is when you add, this dayan is not there from the beginning.
Yes, right. Even though it's at the beginning, it's good enough. And the one who said I don't know is completely out. That's what we said before. Yeah, you have to start discussing again. Says the Moishe Gomer said over. Once they ended the din discussion, they bring in the 2 Bali din. One of them says, the Godel says, the verdict is you are patur chayav. Let's say one of the dayonim, he held his patur. The other 2 says you chayav. So maybe we'll go out and say, I'll tell you the truth, I thought you were patur. But on my answer, you go with the majority. That's the pasuk of Rechilus. That is the pasuk of Rechilus. And Rechilus is, you're going and telling somebody else, I was in your favor, they are the ones who were against you. We'll see in the Gemara Beis Hashem tomorrow's daf. Oh, I said Shadar. It's not Shadar. Nobody did anything wrong. He just says, we were 2 against 1. They said they Shadar. They learned the halachas. And they held you chayav. I held you zakai. So they won because there's a majority. You don't do that. That's called rechilus. The rechilus is the fact you're telling what's going on in the secret. The secret, basically. The secret. Don't reveal it. It's not no l'shanar is when he says something wrong. Nobody did anything wrong over here. But it's a secret. That's the thing. So what do they tell them? How do they warn them? There is wind, there is clouds, but there's no rain. When a person is doing lies, meaning he's lying. So when you talk about the Eidim, you want the Eidim to not to lie. So you tell them you should know when you lie, there's no rain. There will be hunger in the world. I'm not so impressed with this warning. Why? Because someone could say, for 7 years there was hunger in the world, but on my door or door of somebody, the person who knows how to work, the hunger did not affect him. In other words, even if there's hunger in the world, it doesn't affect everybody. I'm not worried about the hunger. Hello, Marova, Amrilus, what I tell him, Mapatz, Vechere, Vechetz, Shonun, Ish, Oineu, Bereu, Eichok. So here referring to that there is, that there will be a death, there will be a plague in the world. There will be death in the world. So you don't want to lie because that brings death. Omar Avashi, another expression. 7 years there was a plague in the world. The person who did not get to the time to look, die, he's not going to die. In other words, like sometimes you hear people say that. If it's not my time to die, if it is my time, I'll go. He's not scared of death. They tell him, when you have the sheker, the ones that paid him, they eventually come and disgrace them. And mezalzel them. So the pasuk here refers to that they were hiring bad Eidim and they called them Bnei Biyal. So they said deplorable people, you'll be witnesses. It means even the ones that hire you don't really treat you with respect. Says the Gemara, he has to say as oido in front of him. Right? So the Mishnah said that he said, so the mashma, what is bifanenu? That he made us eidim. In front of our eyes, he made us eidim. So what is this like? It's like if you do Marav that says when you have a transaction that happens, it's not enough to have there two people. You have to tell them Atem Eidai, be my witnesses. Let's skip the parentheses. I just want to make sure how to skip it. Yeah. Money will be the person says you owe me money. Says, yeah, you're right, I owe you money. He says, well, give it to me, you owe me money. Says, I was kidding. He asked her money, I said, I owe you money. Patur, you have to pay. Even if there were two witnesses over there, hiding behind the fence, told them, you owe me money. He says, yes. He says, do you owe me money? Yes, I do. Right? Says, you know what? Do you mind if I bring Shmerel and Beryl to be our Eidim? And Shmerel and Beryl behind the wall. I prefer no Eidim. Tomorrow you're gonna. I don't want you to start forcing me to pay. Yeah, we trust each other. I don't want to do it in such a formal way. He says, okay, give it to me. So I was kidding. He says, what do you mean you're kidding? You admitted, and Beryl and Shmuel heard, and you said, I don't want Beryl and Shmuel to be here because I don't want you to force me. He can say, I never meant it. But, what?
What if he told him 280 he was kidding?
No, so for sure it's kidding. For sure it's nothing. But here the chiddush is, even though you'd say, what do you mean? You admitted in front of me. And I asked you if you want 80. And the only reason he said no is not because I was kidding, because you don't want me to make a mess. So I'm not making a mess. So that's what it is. You have to say at the end. We don't do a tiny for a maces. Maces is someone who convinces somebody else to do it zone. So maces man chashmei. How do we get the maces over here? Chesur mesrayt. I'm missing your piece. He didn't say anything. In other words, we won't get the shipment and says you owe me money. So I do. Next day he comes to me and says, you owe me money. So I was kidding. I'm kidding. Beryl Shmuel were there. Oh man, okay, I'll pay you. We don't tell him you should know because he didn't say Atem Eida, you can still deny it. We're not going to teach you anything. But in the Fasha is to prevent someone from being killed, we will teach him all the tricks. But someone who convinced somebody else, persuades someone to do a desire, then we don't turn him. Why not Macy's? Why not Macy's? I heard it, I learned it from Chia Barab. Shani Macy's Here it says, do not give any mercy at him. So I don't try to be How do you know that we don't give any ties to the Macy's? From the Nachash, the first Nachash. The Nachash had many ties to say against the fact that they told Chav not to fear Tzedas. When he so why Kodesh Baruch did not do it for him? He didn't say a title. How? In other words, you're not doing for him because it's called a Macy's. He's like over the Zohar when it gets Kodesh Baruch's order. What should have said? What do you listen to? Kodesh told you not to eat Tzedas, and I say to eat, you listen to me. So what do you want from me? No, the Kodesh says, what are you doing? You made them eat from Tzedas. I didn't make it. I told them to eat, and you said that to eat. Who do you listen to?
Why didn't Adam say the same thing?
What?
Why didn't Adam say the same thing?
He ate from it.
He said, he could have said,
Hadrab. It's a time against him. Tell me, it's a time against him.
so what was the thing about the snake?
No, Adam said it's not me to blame, it's Chava. Yeah. So he says that. So this we have, when we raise the Shem, we speak about Yeshiva Daf, the Shach, there's a Shach that everybody speaks about. The Shach brings a ride from here, Dir Radio Talmud, it also works at Dini Shamayim. The Shach lays at the time of Dir Radio Talmud works only with Dini Adam, or with Dini Shamayim. So, once we arrive here, works Dini Shamayim, because here's the Nachash, Dini Shamayim. So that's a big discussion over here. Let's leave that as it are. How do you know when you add a little bit more, you're just ruining it? You're adding something unnecessary. Remember what Chava say? Not to touch Eitz Hadas. Shmuel never said to touch it. So as Chazal said in the Medrash, he pushed her on the Eitz Hadas. So you see that you can touch it. Why are you adding more? Which means if I want to say the word Amasai, take away the Aleph, it will be Masai. Masai means 200. But now that I said Amasai, it's only 2. So the extra Aleph means it's less. Rashi Omar, Ashtei Yisrei Years. Shtei Yisrei is 12. If I add an I in the beginning, it becomes 11. So the extra letter means less. Now, here, just to mention one ha'ara that's brought down. So the first one asks the question, what do you mean we know that someone who adds Gedorim to the Torah is Gevaldik? Supposed to add Gedorim to the Torah. So we bring this other Shmuel says it, yeah, you can add Gedorim to the Torah as long as you know it's together. So this is what the Torah says also. And I'm adding another thing which is a Derabanan, just to add to it. It's not a Deraisa. You have to know, if to differentiate what Hashem told you, what do you add on your own? But when you said Kosh Baruch told you, that's already something wrong. Says the whole story that he said, I want to, you owe me money. He said, yes, I was kidding. So then we say, you can't take money from him. But if he said, he said, no, I never admitted. What do you mean? You admitted to me yesterday. I never admitted. So then the din is a kafir. Then you say he's a liar. Because you admit it. So then we say that he's a liar and you're not named on anymore to say that you're not chayav. He says, well, no, that's not right. He tells him, you owe me money. He said yes. The next day he says, you owe me money. He said, I don't owe you money. What do you mean? You told me yesterday you do. And 280 heard it. Yeah, I forgot. I mean, it wasn't a serious thing. So people don't remember if it's not serious. He hid 2 Eidim in the canopy of the bed. It says, you owe me money. So I do. He says, I want the Eidim. There's a lot of people in this room. Some of them are sleeping, some of them are awake, and they should be Eidim. Right? And he was hoping that he's going to think, probably everybody's sleeping, so he'll say, okay. He said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not accepting them as Eidim. He said, no. So we said, if you don't say Atem Eidai, there's no admission. Put Eidim in a grave. Says, you're right. The dead and the alive should be Eidim. The alive Eidim, they're in the place first to be there. He says, no. He said, no. You have to say what is the Chiddush of every story. If he says, you have to say, it doesn't matter if the Loiva says it or the Malva says it. Someone has to say it today then. The Shastik Loiva. Why? Because how do we see from these stories? Just because the Loiva protests, I don't agree. He's trying to say yes. Something more, who would have a correlate Kav Rashu. They called him Kav Rashu, which means that you have a lot of shtaris against him. Kav full, like a pile of documents against him. Monastic bees. What are you talking about? Nobody. I don't owe money to anybody. Ella ploini. The only people that owe money to is Shmuel and Beryl. That's it. Well, why do you say I have so many loans? Also, Tavu Ladina. So Shmuel and Beryl heard that he said he owes the money. He said, up. You said you owe us money. So, come here, I'm not going to so then 1 second. He may be that he doesn't owe you any money. So why did he say he does owe you money? Because people say that he's about chayfis. He owes millions of dollars. So, no, it's not true. I owe some money to Shmuel and Beryl, that's it. Why wanted to say Shmuel and Beryl? So nobody's going to think he's too rich. They called him the mouse that's sitting on money. So when he died, he says, no, there's two people that owe the money. Was the Shochi, also Tavinu Liyoshim? Came the lenders, these people that he says, you owe me money. Sorry. So a person doesn't want to feel that people should think he's rich. That's when he's alive. But once he died, now he doesn't care. Says the Gemara, Paru. You have to pay. They pay. Poor They paid half. Then he went and he said, give me the other half. Also come in there, no. The same way a person doesn't want the people to think that he's rich, a person doesn't want the people to think that people should think his children are rich. So he says, oh, I owe money to play and play. So people should not think, they think they have by the chayfis. But they didn't actually mean it. So they said, so give us back the first after we pay. Because they went in front of Rishon Babyaisi that says you have to pay. So even though Rabbi Chia disagreed, he said, whatever you pass, I'm not going to go against. Says the Gemara, Oido b'fnei shtayim v'konu miyodin. He did Oido in front of two, and he did a kinyan koisi. Then you can write, because stam kinyan l'ksivo. Pimla v'en koisi. B'fnei shloish shovlo v'konu miyodin. If it's sort of three, it's already a beis din. So that's a machlokes. Avami o my koisi, you have to write because it's a beis din. Asi o my koisi. You still don't write as long if you didn't do a kinyan. Havud v'chashlo l'rav l'hader avasi to not to write. This again is a shtar zibnim kasvinan v'zibnim lekasvinan. Sometimes you write, sometimes you don't write, even when you have three. If they all sing together, the three, and the guy says to him, I don't want to tell you, I owe money to Shper. Like kasvinan. He didn't mean to do a base. It happened to you if you're there. Krafinu, you, but if he gathered them to come together, then the din is kasvinan. Sorry. Even if you gather them also, you don't say right. Until you tell him, you be my dayanim. Not only gather you, say be dayanim, not just aid. Even if you said dayanim, you don't write. Until they put a place and they call it. In other words, it has to be a very official based in move. So he calls Reuben Shimon Levi. He says, Reuben Shimon Levi, I want you to be my dayanim. Send me azmana. I'll come to azmana. Rabbi says, I owe money to play. You have to make it very official. He did Oido, but Metalti did a Kenyan, Koisi. As we said before, Imla being Koisi. Baby Karke, what about Karko? What about then? You don't write. What's going to be the machlekes? If a mandam that says koisim, it says because a karka is not mechusar gabayna, so it's always there available to take it. The other one says a koisim because always when you have a star, it makes it a little heavy. Says the Gemara, veichos a koisim, halachas koisim. Ravino iklo led the meharai. He came to this place. Only Avdim by Avunu the Marai Avino. So Avdim from Marai told Avino. Metaltu v'istu beinayu mai. We said that by karka you don't write because it's ready to take. What if we have metalti they're ready to take? Omerlei ke mekarka dom. Has the karka. Why? Because it's ready. Hashem like on the mechasur gulayna loy. No, at the end of the day, you still have to go and extract it. So even though right now it's available, but you can go and get dispose of it. So that's why you don't write. Always writing makes it more available. So there was a star dog of a kasubo Oma Lono Kisu Vichasoimu Valvo. They didn't write it in there that he told us to write it. Abayi David Abayi, I do Shlokish. Let's also Shlokish says, Doma Shlokish, and Chazok and Edu Chosim on a star and Kenasa Begod. That's a good. In other words, you see a star written, you assume everybody was the right age. Why? You would not sign it if it wasn't done right. So also here, if you want to sign it, if you want to say it, you sign it. We're not so familiar with this halacha. When the whole Sefer Dayanim, you know that you don't write without him saying to write. So, well, yes, Yes, they went and they checked. They did an examination. They went to, so basically the rabbi said, can I write a shtar without the guy saying to write? They all said, no, you cannot write the shtar. So they all knew this halacha, and it's something that they knew, so you can assume that if they signed, it was done correctly. They gave the order to write it. Long dapim, back to the easier dapim of Sanhedrin, but back to the very long dapim of Sanhedrin. Have a wonderful night.